Hello everybody, my name is Josh and this is an ASMR Hearthstone video designed to lull you to sleep as I play a bit of a card game. Today I'm going to be playing with the Shaman and it's going to be in the casual match. So I hope this video, of course, does its job and whisks you off to a nice peaceful dreamland where you will dream about many things, such as opening fields of legendaries and winning all the way to legendary rank. Because if you weren't here to specifically watch an ASMR Hearthstone video, well, I do apologize because that's primarily what I'm going to be talking about. And now the match has begun. My opening hand, if you are not of course watching, is Doomhammer, Harvest Golem, Fire Elemental, and Earthshock. I'm going to toss away the Fire Elemental and the Doomhammer, and I'm going to keep the other two. I will say that I am not exactly the most professional player, so I might hear plays that, or you might hear plays that make no sense to you and you would have done differently. But that's not why we're here today. I have the coin, so I am going to wait for my opponent to play his hand. Looks like he is taking quite a bit of long time to decide exactly what he wants to do. However, we appear to be on the next Rammus board, so I can tinker around with the bits on the field. And as always, a priest always seems to draw the Northshire cleric. I don't know how, but every time I go up against a priest, it seems to be the number one thing. However, I kept the Earthshock around, so I'm going to silence his minion. I still have the coin, but I'm not going to use it on anything. However, one thing I did draw is I also drew the Haunted Creeper and Feral Spirit. And I have Hex from when I tossed away those other cards. So I figure I will keep you up to date. So far we're on turn 2. He has a damaged Northshire cleric on the field, and so far he's neglecting to play anything else. I must say that I was pretty happy that I was able to silence the Northshire cleric. He plays a Mind Vision, so he's able to put a copy of a random card in my hand into his hand. He simply uses the Northshire cleric to attack me, and that's going to end his turn. And we are actually going to respond to him by summoning out the Haunted Creeper. I am tempted to coin into a Leper Gnome that I just drew, but I think for now I will leave my field relatively clear, so we can coin into something much better later on. I pass my turn, and it is now his turn. I'll take a sip of my coffee in the meantime. Looks like his Mind Vision was actually able to grant him Feral Spirit, so right now he has Feral Spirit on the field. One of the things I could do is I could also respond with a Feral Spirit. I just drew an Abusive Sergeant. I think what I shall do is actually summon the Harvest Golem. I could Hex one of the Feral Spirits, but I feel as though that would be a bit of a waste. So instead what I'm going to do is I am going to Abusive Sergeant, and I'm going to put that on the Haunted Creeper to get one of the Feral Spirits out of the way. I get my 2 spiders, and then for the remainder of it I'm going to summon a totem. And it is the Stoneclaw totem giving me taunt. And let's see what kind of answers he has for that. He's using Power Word Shield on the Feral Spirit, which works out for me, because all he's doing is buffing his defense, and I may choose to Hex that. We'll see exactly what his plans are. He's killed off his Northshire cleric by ramming into one of my minions. I draw a Flame Tongue totem, which I'm going to now use to completely get rid of the Feral Spirit. I lose both my Haunted Creepers, but I still have Flame Tongue, and now I'm left with a Leper Gnome. The Leper Gnome is, of course, boosted by the Flame Tongue Totem, making it a 4-1. So if he has nothing to answer for that next turn, things should get pretty interesting. I do, however, wish that I was able to play the Flame Tongue when I had 2 of my Feral Spirits down. But that, of course, is still in my hand. At this time, my opponent is still deciding exactly what he wants to do. Right now, he has 6 cards to my 4 in his hand. He has a slight card advantage. Let's see how he uses. He uses a silence on my Flame Tongue Totem. Probably the best idea he could have done. He then answers with another Noshar Cleric and an Annoytron. And as in a way of taunting me, he then uses his Lesser Heal on my Flame Tongue Totem, which it had no damage, and it's also silenced. I just drew a Fel Reaver. That is slightly tempting to play out, but I'm not sure if I want to do that at this time. What I might do is simply Hex the Annoytron. Actually, no. I will not Hex the Annoytron. I will summon my Harvest Golem. And then I'm going to coin out my Feral Spirits. So the next turn I'll be able to eliminate his field. I'm going to pop the Divine Shield on the Annoytron with the Leper Gnome. He'll take 2 damage. And that'll end my turn. He now has 4 cards to my 2. In my hand I hold a Hex and a Fel Reaver. Fel Reaver is something I decided to try into the deck because I was just kind of curious to see how it would play out. For those unfamiliar, it is a 5 mana for 8/8. Whenever your opponent plays a card, discard the top 3 cards of your deck. Now, that could be pretty deadly, especially in the later game when you have more cards to play. But we're going to see how this plays out. Right now on the field, just as a reminder, he is the Noshar Cleric, the Annoytron. I have my Harvest Golem, a Silenced Flame Tongue Totem, and a Spirit Wolf. So now it's time to take care of things. I'm going to summon out the Abusive Sergeant and actually give the 2 attack to the Silenced Flame Tongue Totem, to which he's going to get rid of the Annoytron. To which then my Spirit Wolf and my Harvest Golem are going to attack the Noshar Cleric. I was tempted to go right for the face, however, I wanted to clear his field, and I still have room for another totem with Taunt, giving me a field advantage of 5 to his 0. However, all of my minions right now are 2 health, so if he's drawn a Holy Nova, he could have an answer to that. Right now, he has 5 cards and 7 mana. Let's see how he plays his turn. In the meantime, I'm going to have another sip of my coffee. He responds with another Annoytron. Still having 3 mana left over, he uses his Lesser Heal to heal himself. Ends his turn. Okay. So I have many options. I think what I'm going to do is play the Fel Reaver, because I don't see it as any huge threats on the board right now. I am going to use my Abusive Sergeant. Actually, no, incorrect. I'm going to use my Harvest Golem to pop the Annoytron Shield. I'm going to use the Spirit Wolf to destroy the Annoytron. And then I'm going to use the Abusive Sergeant to crash into him for 2 damage. And I'm going to take my chances, play the Fel Reaver. And then I'm going to summon yet one more totem, filling up my field. And it is a Searing Totem. So he's got a lot to answer for right now. Taking an awfully huge risk with the Fel Reaver. But I want to see how it plays out. This is a casual match, so not a whole lot's on the line. And I more or less just want to see where this goes. He's going to use Shadow Word Pain on my Spirit Wolf. I lose 3 cards on the top of my deck, none of which were too inconsequential. He is going to silence my Harvest Golem, so that when it dies, I will not gain anything. He is now about to play the coin, probably just for the fact that he can discard cards off the top of my deck. He still has 5 mana, but only 2 cards and nothing on the field. He doesn't exactly have a big answer for me. It is now my turn. And what I plan to do is I'm going to simply hit him with everything. So 2 damage, another 2 damage. Searing Totem for 1, and Fel Reaver for 8. And now I am going to put myself an Arcane Nullifier. I still have a Rockbiter in my hand, but I'm going to save that for later. So right now I have 7 minions on the field to his none. He's got a 3 cards to my 2. And it looks like he wanted to target the Arcane Nullifier, but he realized that he is unable to with spells. So unless he has a direct answer for me right now, this is looking like it's going to be game for him very soon. Now he displayed a Divine Favor on my own totem and Inner Fire, and it looks like he is more or less discarding my cards, and he's about to call it game. I'm willing to bet he will concede. Unless he's trying to empty my deck so that I lose vitality, but I have enough vitality to get through that. Okay, now this should be game. At this point I am completely out of cards. I have Fatigue, taking 1 damage. So let's see what we can do with this. I'm going to give the Rockbiter weapon to the Fel Reaver, pumping it up to 11. Now the only thing left to hit him with is the 2 damage from the Arcane Nullifier, and that's going to be game. Well, I do hope 12 minutes was enough to lull you to sleep. If not, I am going to have more of these videos. I do apologize if the ads are a bit noisy, because I am going to attempt to monetize these. But thank you for listening, and stick around for more Hearthstone. And I hope you have a good night.